Andrea Landry recently released her new children's book called Rez Kid in the beginning of September. It's a story about a young girl who is taunted on the playground because she is a First Nation, and then her family encourages her to turn her awful experience into an educational moment for her classmates. We recently spoke to Andrea Landry from Pound Maker Cree Nation. Here's that interview.
Andrea, thank you for speaking with us and congratulations on releasing your new book, Rez Kid. The book has been out now since September 2nd. In your words, can you tell us what the book is about?
Yeah, I really wanted to highlight the truth of the Rez that not a lot of people see. And so in mainstream media, we see a lot of the poverty, a lot of the intergenerational impacts of colonization, residential schools, all these things. And with this story, I wanted to show the beauty of our kinship systems, right? And so the story follows a story of a young girl that I based off my oldest daughter, which now that I have two daughters, it's about both of them, and their ties to their family, their ties and their bond to their homelands, and navigating problem solving with the help and support of their family system in a way that highlights who we are and where we come from, the strength of our families, the strength of our communities, and the beauty of our homelands.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and it's definitely a story that resonates with many Indigenous families. Andrea, can you explain where the idea came from for this book?
Yeah, so it primarily was based on my oldest daughter. The idea first came out when she was about 6 years old. She's 9 now. And then I had another daughter who she was now 2. And as we spent a lot of time on the land, my oldest is homeschooled, and I began to notice how beautiful and calm life can be with her bond with the land. And so she started learning about different plants and the medicines. She started having deeply entwined relationships with her grandmothers, her grandfathers, her mushrooms, and her kukums, her aunties, her uncles. And I was like, this would be a really amazing story, because I saw a lot of other children in our communities on reserves having similar connections with their family members, having similar connections with the land, and just highlighting that Rez life can be a beautiful life. Yeah, and so it's based primarily on my girls and their relationship with the land, and every Rez kid, out there living on the land and living their best lives with their families and doing their best.
Absolutely. I'm smiling here because you're making me think of my own Rez girl stories myself,
Yeah.
Artist and illustrator Isabella Fassler also helped with the beautiful pictures and designs in your book. Was she an easy pick for you?
Well, we were looking primarily for an Indigenous illustrator, and a lot of them were busy, a lot of them were booked up, and so my editor suggested Isabella. And when she sent her website and her work, her portfolio, I was amazed at the flow of her work. And I began to envision how she could piece this together. And she emailed me and she asked, is there any reference photos you wanted me to utilize? And she wanted cultural background. She wanted some information on what I was envisioning. And so we did that, and when we began to see how the book came to light, we begin to see, how easily flowing the pieces are, how easily flowing the book comes together, the artwork. It just really brings the book to life, and so I'm really grateful for how it's all turned out.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting, and I guess what important lessons do you think readers will take away from this book, Rez Kid?
Rez life is the best life. It's really about finding our ties and our connections with our community, and for adults too, like you said, like seeing ourselves in the girl in the book, and reminding ourselves of how we were raised in our relationship with the land, and reigniting that. And for every Rez kid, just to see our bonds with the land and our bonds with our kinship systems.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Andrea, I guess, where can people buy the book, and is it available online and in store?
Yeah, anywhere online, anywhere in store. It's available at most major bookstores now, and libraries, any bookstore, and most you can just order in if it's not available, as well as like Amazon, obviously. but most bookstores carry it now. Indigo, and even independent bookstores as well.
I'm going to go have to check that out myself. I just want to thank you today, Andrea, for chatting with us and telling us all about your book.
Perfect. Miigwech for having me. Awesome. Miigwech.